I snuck into my ex-husband's wedding and I was arrested. Part 1. True story, I'm probably not your typical subscriber, but I listen quite often. I recently finalized my community service and paid my fines for going against a court order to stay away from my ex-husband. I know you'll probably think I'm silly or even a troll, but this is real, and I have no issue sharing any documents with you. Screenshots on Facebook, everything. But I was wondering if you'd share my YouTube channel once I start it. I will be on camera for everyone who is wondering, and I want to share my stories and how I'm overcoming being a wayward wife. I think it's unique and no one is doing it. I think once a lot of people in this space get to know me, they'll see that I am sorry for what I did. I'm going to be honest though. I'm going to tell the truth and the whole truth. But I'm going to share my story first. I'll be moved into my new place the 1st of June. I'll send a follow-up in my channel and hopefully you can link it for me. You can see me in my thumbnail on my email. I am a real person. Anyway, so where do I start? My husband and I were married for 4 years. I'm 28 today. We divorced when I was 25. He put a restraining order on me twice, once after the divorce, and again when I was 27. I was accused of stalking him, but I simply was trying to talk to him. He kept avoiding, and if you ask me or any of my friends, that is abuse on his part. You can't spend 6 years knowing someone. We went to school together. 6 years being with someone and then just completely ghost and abandon them. Yes, I cheated. I'm the one who owned up to it. I admitted to it. I could have kept it secret and I'd still be a wife today. But cheating isn't a good reason to leave someone. And honestly, he may as well have been cheating on me because his neglecting me and not having bedroom action with me is what caused me to sleep with another man. His reasoning for neglecting me was stupid. This is how I felt at the time. I don't feel this way anymore, but we both worked. He worked full time, had a great career, and I worked part time. I didn't think I should pay my bills because my dad took care of the household, no matter what, so I grew up expecting that. My ex-husband required that I care for the house, but my mindset then, since I worked at all, 15 hours a week, I shouldn't have to clean and cook 100% of the time. At least 50-50. He thought I was selfish, and now I do see it. I truly do. I only worked 15 hours a week because I had to pay for my BMW. The car payment was $780. He did carry the insurance, but I paid for the note and gas, which I thought sucked, but I did because I wanted the car. He thought it was silly to want the car given the neighborhood we lived in. My car ended up getting stolen, and that was such a crappy situation. The bank tried to force me into paying the loan and threatened to ruin my credit. They even claimed I was frauding them and I was going to go to jail. It was a headache. Eventually, after months and me still paying on the loan, my husband's insurance company cut the check and paid for the value of the vehicle. That affected my husband's insurance payment negatively. He was highly ticked off at me. So all of that caused him to neglect me. So there I was, now driving an old beat-down Honda and getting no attention from my husband. I accepted the attention from other men. I did. Guys would tell me I was too pretty to be driving the car I was driving. They'd say my husband doesn't love me and I needed a real man. And one specific man said that to me and I believed him. We talked for months before I slept with him. He promised me a life of luxury. He had an actual home, whereas my ex-husband had us in a 2-bedroom apartment. I wanted more in life, and I believed I deserved it. I lied to my ex-husband, telling him I was going to go celebrate my cousin's graduation. I knew he wouldn't want to go. I did attend the party, but left early to meet the new guy I'd been talking to. He was an older man, 39 years old, had all his crap together. We did it, and I will say it was good, not mind-blowing like he bragged about. I wouldn't say he was any better than my ex-husband. It probably was the same, but this man had other things to offer, like money. I wouldn't have to work if I was with him. But this is when I realized I loved my ex-husband. The next day, when I was home, I realized that I'd rather live in this two-bedroom home with him than feel like a queen living with another man that I didn't love. It wasn't love with that other man at all. The idea of being spoiled basically intrigued me, but I'm here to tell everyone, love is real, and it's much stronger than riches. I don't care what anyone says. I know my ex-husband belongs with me, and I'm not done trying to get him. So that same day I realized that, I tried initiating intimacy with my husband. He kept denying me, so I was asking him if he was cheating on me. I was certain he was. How do you constantly turn down bedroom action with your wife? You have to be getting it from somewhere. He said, "No, I'm not. Have you cheated on me?" I sat there and I was dumbfounded. I couldn't lie to him. I tried, but he stared at me and said, "No, you haven't." "Have you seriously?" I cried, and then he cried. "How dare you? Are you kidding me? Why are you doing this to me? Are you trying to purposely ruin me? What happened to you? What happened to us?" "Who is he? Tell me now." I just sat there and I cried. I didn't know what to say. It's embarrassing that I cheated on him in the first place. But with some guy that I met randomly at a gas station, what is he going to think of me? He's going to be disgusted of me. So I told him it was with a friend from work. He then said, "But you work with all girls. Was it a customer?" And then I said, "Yes." And then I said, "No, not a customer, but someone in management that works there." And I just got my words all twisted up. He sat me down and stopped crying, and he told me, "Tell me the truth. Who was it?" And then I told him that I met a guy at a gas station. He offered to pump my gas, and he told me that I deserved better, and my car was a piece of crap. When I told him that I was married, I hoped that would back him off, but he pushed more and said that I deserved a better man. A man shouldn't allow his wife to drive in a crappy car like this, let alone have her pumping her own gas. The tank should have been full already. My husband's cries and tears disappeared. It's almost like he was faking it. He just got this evil looking face, and his eyes were scaring me. And he said, "That's all it took?" Why does material things matter to you so much? You know we're working hard to get out of this situation that we're in. We're supposed to do this together, but I allowed you to convince me that it's all my job to do it. And I took on that burden. I picked up extra hours. Heck, I even picked up a part-time job. I'm working full-time and part-time, and you're working your little part-time to pay for your stupid BMW that got stolen in this crappy neighborhood that we live in. I told you that would happen, and it did. I suffered those consequences with my insurance. All you care about is materialistic things. I wish I would have known this about you before I married you. You were nothing like this before we married. I don't know what's happening to you. What changed? But I want nothing to do with it. I'm divorcing you. We're done." I tried to stop him as he was trying to leave the apartment. I told him I realized that this was more important. Him and I, struggling and getting through it. When we cross that victory line, it'll feel so much better. So much better than me just getting with someone who's already established, but the love isn't there. I told him that I get everything now. I told him this, and he didn't even listen to me. He just walked away. And about 2 weeks later, I was served with divorce papers. There were 3 months left on our lease at this time. He paid the remaining of the rent. I stayed there. I don't know where he went. I just know he ghosted me and completely forgot about me. That made me feel like crap. The last thing he did say to me before he walked out of that door that night was that I was dead to him. He said he will never allow me to hurt him ever again. Don't come near him. That tore me up, ripped me to shreds. He thinks he was hurt because I slept with someone else. The words that he said to me destroyed me, and I spent a long time trying to get him back, even if it cost me jail time. The divorce went very, very quickly. I was a bit surprised, actually. I thought I read that we were required to spend a year in therapy, but I had my states mixed up. But anyway, I was destroyed. Had your states mixed up. Okay. I had some time left in the apartment and I didn't have to pay anything, so I was able to make money and I upped my hours at my job. I was now full time. I was miserable. I would sit and write in a notebook at work during my breaks, and sometimes I'd spend a little time over my break. That wasn't allowed, but I did anyway. But I'd write in my notebook and try to figure out how I could get my husband back. I'd go back and forth from Google and reading online forums of ways of getting him back, trying to strategize. The first incident that got me the restraining order was me stalking him and actually stealing his phone. So I tried to download a tracking device onto his phone so I can always know where he was. I always knew his passcode before, and I was hoping that he didn't change it. The way this all happened, I think about it now, and simply, it was crazy. But what can I say? I am crazy in love, still to this day. Of course, I knew where he worked, so I just follow him to work. I would do this on my lunch break. His job wasn't too far from mine, and this also is what kept me keeping my lunch breaks at just 30 minutes. I eventually got fired for it, but it was worth it, in my opinion. And the job I had was pretty simple, sales job, so it is easy to get another. I usually work with teenagers and younger folk. I'd always go up to his car at his job, knowing that his lunch hour was an hour after mine. I go up to his car in the parking lot to see if his door was unlocked. See what I can find, and his door was always locked now. Initially, my thought was to put a tracking device on the car, but I simply just couldn't find the right device or even know how to do it. I don't even know any guys that could help me out except one. I did consider asking the man I cheated with because I know he's into IT, but I vowed to never speak to him again. That didn't last long. He reached out constantly until I blocked him, wondering why I was ignoring him, wondering if he did something wrong. He even said he had a bad night that night, as far as in the bedroom, and he wants to make up for it. It wasn't that I thought he was bad in bed. It was just I realized how much I loved my husband. It sucks that I had to sleep with another man to figure that out. So anyway, looking on online forums, I found out about this app that you can put on your spouse's phone if you want to find them cheating. And it was a tracking app, so I tried to figure out a way to do that. I was hoping maybe he'd leave his phone in his car and maybe leave the door unlocked. He was known to do that sometimes before, but every time he never did. So I decided to sneak into the building. So I know a lot of people there, and I'm pretty sure some people do know that we're divorced, but some may not when it came to HR. That's exactly what I walked into out in the parking lot. She screamed my name. Is that my name? I said, yeah, hey, it's me. How are you? Haven't seen you in such a long time, she said to me. I said, yes, I know. Oh my gosh. She says, are you here to bring your husband lunch? I said, I forgot to give him something before he left this morning, so I kind of just wanted to sneak it in his pocket. Is that okay? HR said, of course. I'll take it to the break room. So I know for sure my ex-husband doesn't keep his phone on his person while he's working. It's actually not allowed, and the people that do it, they end up breaking their phones out there. They're working with machines and a lot of heavy things. Some people just leave their phone laying out, hanging out on the desk somewhere or on a table. But somehow, some way, it's going to get crushed or either stolen. But in their locker room, break room, there's cameras everywhere. No one steals in there. So he'd always leave it in his jacket. It has a zipper on it. She led me into there and I told her thank you, and I sat there hoping that she would just walk away. And she stood there waiting. It was so uncomfortable. And I said, all right, well, I'm just going to leave this in his pocket and I'll wave to him from here from the window and I'll be out of here. I think she got the point. She said, okay, well, take care, and she left. I believe she was heading out for her lunch at this time, so I know my husband's jacket and I saw it. I spotted it. It even has his name on it. I unzip it first. I feel to see if the phone's there, and it is. So I unzip it, and I pull his phone out. I'm looking around, nervous and scared. I was so nervous I dropped the phone. My hands were shaking. I was hoping I didn't break it. I didn't. I took the phone and I went and sat down at the table. Took a seat. Looking out the window, hoping no one spots me. From the break room, you can see into the working areas. I kind of leaned over a little bit and tried to open this phone up. I put in the code and it didn't work. I said, okay, let me try it again. I did it slower, making sure I put the right numbers in. I know what it is. It's his niece's birthday. I put it in and it did not work. I've been in my ex-husband's phone a million times now. I know if I would have tried it again and again, it probably would have locked me out. So I sat there and I thought maybe he changed it. My husband's phone is an Android. It's not facial recognition or anything like that. It's all PIN code. I'm sitting here waiting and thinking, wondering if I was going to try this again. I hear the door open from the shop, and all I hear is, "What the F are you doing here?" I was so scared. It was my ex-husband. He must have spotted me sitting right in front of the freaking window. I didn't think he'd even notice me. I couldn't say a word. My mouth was just slightly open, and I was just trying to get words out, and I couldn't. He says, "What are you doing here?" He looks down in my hand, kind of squints, and then rushes over to his jacket. Oh no, I'm standing here with his freaking phone in my hand. He says, "What are you doing with my phone?" I reached out and I gave it to him. He snatches it and says, "What are you doing?" I just didn't know what to say. I just kept stuttering. He says, "Why are you going through my phone? How do you know my new passcode?" I said, "I don't know your new passcode. I was hoping it was the old one." He said, "For what? Why do you need to get in my phone? What are you trying to do? I told you to stay the F away from me. You crazy bee. You're dead to me." I cried so hard. I couldn't believe he said this to me. I had to hear it again. It hurt, and I told him, "I know what I did to you hurt you, but you throwing me away like this is hurting me more. I'm sorry I made a mistake. It took me to sleep with another man to realize that you're the only man for me. I will do anything to get you back." That's when he put the phone up to his head after dialing. He was calling someone. I figured out who it was when he spoke. All I heard was, "Yes, 911. I'd like to report a stalker." What can I do to get a restraining order? My wife is following me and stealing my belongings at my job. I don't want anything to do with her. She's crazy, and I want a restraining order now. I can hear the operator asking if we work together. My ex-husband is saying, "No, we don't work together at all. We're divorced, and she's following me and stalking me." I come to the break room, and she's going through my things, and she tried to steal my phone. I don't know why, but this woman is crazy. I want a restraining order, and I want to press charges. Please send an officer. He storms out, I guess to talk to the receptionist or something, and I just sat there in a break room crying. Sometime later, a lot of guys from the shop started coming into the break room. That's when the sheriff comes in, and the sheriff is asking me to step outside. I'm outside talking with the sheriff. My husband is out there. He's angry, turning red. Another officer is talking to him, and he's nodding his head. Okay, I will do it. And they're asking me why I'm stalking my husband, getting all types of information from me. And I just couldn't stop crying. After a while talking with them, the officer is telling me to go home. Don't stalk my husband, and don't show back up at this company, and leave him alone. I saw the HR lady walking in, and she's wondering what's going on. I couldn't even look at her. I got in my car, and I drove back to my job. That's when I got fired. The manager there, she's not the owner or anything. She thinks she is, but she manages the store. She's going off on me, talking to me like she's my mother. "Where have you been? What are you doing? You cannot do this. It's the beginning of the month. and the store is swamped and you're out taking a long lunch? I clearly was crying, but she didn't care. I told her I just went through something very traumatic. This woman straight up tells me, I don't care. I said, ma'am, I'm here now. I'm willing to work. She says, no. We called in other employees. They're coming in. You can go home now. In fact, I'll just let you know now. Joseph said that you're fired. He'll be calling you soon. Mr. True Story, I was devastated. My life was in shambles. I just wanted my husband back. I wanted him to know that I was sorry. Now here I am, fired from my job and probably looking forward to a restraining order, which did happen. So I learned later on that day that the restraining order was granted the same day. Must have had some pretty good evidence, huh? Video of me there, I guess, is enough. I think the fact that I was going through my ex-husband's phone without his knowledge was enough for them to grant him the restraining order, because he hadn't caught me stalking him. I had been. I've been following him and showing up at his job. I followed him to places a ton of times, grocery stores, gas stations. I just needed to see him. I don't think he's ever seen me. Maybe he has. I don't know. Maybe he's recorded me. I don't know. He won't even talk to me, so I can't even find out. I ended up finding another job working full time. It paid a little more, so I wasn't too upset that I lost the other sales job. We actually made money. From ourselves. The other job, they kind of scammed us on that, but I'm not going to get into that. So from 25 years old, after I was divorced, I stayed away from him. I didn't follow him. I did look him up on social media though. I created a business page. It was for my business I decided to start. It didn't do too well. But I decided if I created this page, maybe he doesn't have it blocked. And maybe I could see him. And sure enough, I searched him and I found him. I monitored everything. He moved on so quick already. Some girl he was dealing with, they were taking trips together all on Facebook. That bothered me. How did he move on so fast? I didn't even deal with the guy that I cheated with. I cut him off. So seeing him deal with someone else made me unblock the guy I cheated with. The guy I cheated with, him and I kind of started a thing until he ended it with me. He said I was infatuated with my ex-husband. He caught me snooping on Facebook looking at my ex-husband, and I'd always bring my ex-husband up about everything. I'd say things like, oh, I remember when my ex-husband did this, and let me tell you about a time when we did that, when we were young. We used to do this, and he just grew tired of hearing it. So literally, one day, he kicked me out. I went and stayed with my parents for a little while before I found an apartment, and I stayed there. I've been in the same apartment until I was 27. I never stopped stalking my ex-husband. I went into everything. They'd visit a place, and I'd look into that place and see how nice of a resort it was. I couldn't believe he was doing all of this stuff. It looked expensive. He'd really started doing better in life. If I would have just stuck around and had been patient, that could have been me. But when I saw that he got engaged to this woman and they were announcing the wedding would be soon, I was ticked off and I was determined to go say my piece at this wedding. I couldn't help myself, and I commented on the post under my business page. I announced who I was and said who I was, and I told him he shouldn't be marrying someone else. We're still in love, and we should at least give us another chance. He didn't even delete it. His now new fiance went off on me, and everybody started attacking me in the post. I saw in one of the comments my ex-husband said, I guess it's time to update that restraining order, and apparently that's what he did. Apparently the other one was expired, and he sure did update the order. You think that stopped me? No, I was determined to go to that wedding and say my piece.